Welcome to the Navigating Cancer Together podcast. My name is Talea Dindy. I am a 10-year cancer thriver, cancer doula, and owner of On the Other Side. I use my experience to help others get on the other side of cancer. This podcast is about sharing stories, resources, and information about all things related to cancer and wellness. I interview guests from all walks of life who are living with cancer, caregivers, and those who made it on the other side. Also, I talk with organizations, healthcare professionals, and experts in the health and wellness spaces who offer complementary and integrative care. Join me. We are in this together. Hello, and welcome to Navigating Cancer Together. I am your host, Talea Dindy. Today, our very special guest is Grace De Angeli. And I am so excited for you guys to hear all about Grace's cancer journey. Grace De Angeli is a wife, an entrepreneur, and breast cancer survivor. Her entrepreneurial journey begins at age 40 by pursuing life on her terms and eventually building and scaling a family construction company to 7 figures and employing 22 staff. But that journey did not come easy. And after a long, troubled life through childhood trauma, physical abuse, it brings her to the point of attempting suicide at the age of 21. She was able to overcome adversity and discover what her true calling was. That is helping people who might be suffering as she once did. At the age of 47, she was diagnosed with breast cancer while watching their family business being taken from them due to a bad project. She was made to look within and start to heal her body, mind, and her spirit. Today, Grace is the founder of the Angels of Grace.me, a journey focused on self-discovery and how to heal themselves from breast cancer and from other life traumas. Welcome, Grace, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Thank you, Grace. The pleasure is mine. And so what I want to do, Grace, is just dive right in. Please share your experience with breast cancer and what you learned while on that journey.
Sure. So I was diagnosed in 2018. It was after doing what I am is my mother had breast cancer, although she passed away from cervical cancer. So we were put on a recall routine check for every year since. And she passed away in 2013. So I was going for my regular yearly checks, getting the calls, all good, see you next year. And this particular year, I got a call and they said, "Oh, we found something, so we need to do a biopsy." So I thought, okay. And the doctor at the time said to me, "Well, Grace, most of the time, 99% of the time, it's nothing, but let's rule that out." So I was actually on my way on a holiday. So I thought, well, do I need to cancel? And they said, "No, when you get back." So I get back and I do the, I go and do the biopsy and things like that. And, I'm sitting in her doctor's office and I'll never forget, like I did the biopsy on the Monday. I'm sitting in her office on the Wednesday. I'm the last person to be seen. And already I'm having this gut feeling. I'm like the last 2 people she saw, the lady before me came out crying. And I remember saying to my husband, okay, I think there's something there, because why would she leave the last 2 people with bad news? And, so she sits me down and I'm someone who wants to know straight away. Asking me, how I'm doing is just, don't worry about how I'm doing, just tell me. And I heard those words that I guess any person doesn't want to hear. Yes, you have cancer. And I think I went into numbness. I went into a bubble. I remember thinking, what? But I've been checked for the last 5 years. At this stage, it was the last 5 years or 4 years. And I'm like, she's sure? It's because all of a sudden you don't believe it. Because when I say I didn't believe it, I had no symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's not that I found a lump, or it's not that I had a discharge from the nipple, or, anything like that. So she said, look, we need to get this out straight away. We have no time to lose. So I remember sitting there about to sign the consent forms to have what she wanted to do is she wanted to take out 2 lymph nodes. However, having said that, if she couldn't find my lymph nodes, she would have done what they call an axillary clearance, which means they take all your lymph nodes from your arm.
Mm-hmm.
And I was, again, this consent form's in front of me. I'm ready to sign my life. And my husband just said, wait, let's
Mm-hmm.
just wait a second. Let's just take a breather here. So she said, of course, you could do that. And my husband asked her, how much time can I have? Is 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks okay? And she said, of course, it's all good. Now, again, this is, like I say to many people, this was my, diagnosis,
Mm-hmm.
things like that. And so what we did is my husband popped me on a plane, and we actually ended up doing holistic work. And what I mean by that is, although I did the tests and everything with our doctors, I went over to Peru and I started doing, shamanic medicine work for 2
Okay.
weeks. And that basically, like, a lot of people think, well, how does that get it? So
Mm-hmm.
the person conducting it, not only does he make you drink the medicine, his wife would administer the medicine on the outside of my breast for 2 weeks. And I did this. And I also did what they call a dieta, which is a cleanse of foods as well. So you're
Okay.
eating very, very clean. And what that was doing is, not only was it healing my body, but it was starting for me to heal my mind and my soul.
Hmm.
It was bringing up things that I wasn't, how do you say it? I wasn't processing. I never processed traumas, things like that. I never processed. So it was helping with that. So I get back from there, and I go back, get another ultrasound. No, it's still there. Now, I'm not trying to, again, what I should say actually, which I forgot, is when I was first diagnosed, I put a dream team together.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this dream team, what I say, was made up of people. There was 5 people, including myself and my husband. We were there to sit and sort of explain and understand what's going on, what's happening, what can we do. Now, I didn't have people, it's all gun-ho Western medicine, and I didn't have people all
Mm-hmm.
gun-ho holistic, or telling me to just sit out in the sun and eat the sun and things like that. So
Exactly.
I had, so I had a variety. I had to look at this from every angle. And that
Mm-hmm.
was the great thing. And that's why, as a collective team, we made the decision to go to Peru. Coming back, I brought my team together and I said, guys, they're telling me it's still there. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I actually remembered other things that I tried, which is crazy stuff, but you know what I mean? Some electromagnetic thing I tried as well. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
what it was called. I'm really sorry. But I tried everything. And when I say tried everything, I shouldn't say that. I tried many things,
Yes.
because in my case, because we had caught it so early, I wanted to see how much of this I can do naturally and how much of this I need the help of doctors.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, having said that, we get back. I decide to do 2 weeks of Ayurveda. Now, Ayurveda is an ancient traditional way of cleansing the body. It's an Indian, they've had it for thousands of years. And again, it's not only about detoxing the body, it's about detoxing the mind. All it's psychology, it's physiology, it's mentally, it's physically, it's everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I go there. So I go all the way to Bali and I do this thing for 14 days and I feel on top of the world, and I get back and it's grown. It's grown. We
Mm.
have to get it out. So that by that stage, I went to my GP and I said, look, I need a second opinion. I want a second opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So he booked me into this surgeon who, till today, is my surgeon, Dr. Belinda Brown. And she got me in on straight away. So she looked at my, all my tests and everything. And she basically said, let's get it out. Let's get it out. It's
Okay.
sitting there. Let's get it out. So
Mm-hmm.
I thought, okay, let's get it out. Let's do the right thing. So I remember thinking to myself, well, we tried. We tried.
Yeah.
And that's what I say when I say to people, just there's so many options out there. If nothing works, try something else. It doesn't mean that you have to try one thing. The one thing I did not do is base my decisions on fear.
So
Because
can we stop there,
sure,
Grace? I'm
sure.
sorry to interrupt you,
That's
but
okay. That's okay.
before we get to the next phase,
Mm-hmm.
I want to first of all applaud you and your husband for saying let's pause for a minute,
Mm-hmm.
because I think that we get so wrapped up in, like you just said, the word fear. And we hear those words, and some people immediately just dive in, and some people freeze and don't do anything. And so I just want to applaud you and your husband for saying,
Mm.
hey, wait a second, let's just kind of see what else is out there. The other thing I want to ask you is, how did you know about, the shamanic medicine
Mm-hmm.
and things
Mm-hmm.
like that? Had you done that before or heard of it
Yes.
before? Okay. Okay.
Yes, I have. Yes, yes. And my husband practices a lot more. He's been practicing it for almost 10 years. So he was flying in and out of Peru. One of the holidays we went to, I was actually picking him up from Peru. So he was actually in doing his dieta, which is a diet of a plant that you are isolated in the jungle. So he was
Okay.
doing that. So yeah, so that's how we
Okay.
knew about it. Yeah.
Okay.
And
Wonderful.
yep. Yeah. And again, touching on that, of course, having, that's the one thing that a friend of mine told me when I got out after I was diagnosed. And he would have been part of our dream team, but he was actually in Peru doing his own work. And he said to me, don't ever base a decision made on fear.
Mhm.
So that was the biggest lesson. And the other thing I do want to point out, which I should have, was the fact that, yes, a lot of doctors tell you how you must right now do something. And you know what? If it's already there, an extra week, an extra 2 weeks, unless it's something critical, very, very critical, and it's growing by the minute, or it's causing more damage to the body by the minute, you have time.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
have time to explore that. So, and that's what I did. And also with the Ayurveda, it was a friend of mine who we called him MS-DOS because he would always explore everything on the internet. Yes. So, and that's how we found out about Ayurveda. I've never heard of it, but he said, I think it's something great for Grace, because it's like everyone knew that I had to heal myself, not
Mm.
just my body. Does that make sense? It's like
Yes.
everyone around me knew Grace needs to heal herself on a very deeper level, not just the body. I was running around thinking, I didn't. Yeah.
Okay, so it wasn't apparent to you at that time that you needed to go much deeper, but the people around you who probably knew you fairly well, they saw something more.
Correct. It's like I had all my I had all my eggs in my basket, and everything was fine. Little did I know I was scrambling all these eggs and it was turning into something totally wrong. I didn't see that. I didn't see that. And, you know, life must have shown me, hey,
Mhm.
you're not listening.
Yeah.
Everyone else around you is listening. You're not listening. So, you know, um, but this is what I did. So the journey I took was that. So I get to December. By this stage, it's December. I was diagnosed in August, and this
Mhm.
is December. So this is how much time. And
Oh,
again, I
wow.
always
Okay.
say disclaimer,
Mhm.
disclaimer. This is because I went on a holiday. So you can imagine I got back in September, late September.
Okay.
So, and they weren't worried. They didn't say, no, you must cancel your
Mhm.
holiday. And so I get operated, and so I say to my second doctor, you know, I know you have to do an axillary clearance if you don't find two lymph nodes. And I'll never forget her reaction. Her reaction was, it's not necessary.
Mhm.
Who told you you must do an axillary clearance? And I said, well, the other breast cancer surgeon. So she said, no, we never do that, because what she was basically saying is, why touch something and it ends up worse, because then not only do you have, God forbid, the diagnosis of cancer in the lymph nodes, but now you're suffering with lymphoma, I believe it's called that, where it swells your arm and things like lymphedema. Sorry, that's correct. So, then you're going to be suffering with that as well. So she's thinking, why would I do that to you if you don't, it's not necessary. So we went in and my husband's at home because it was a late afternoon. It was like a day surgery in my case. So he's gone home, and at about 7:20, he gets a call from our maestro in Peru and says to my husband, your wife is fine. They're not going to find anything. And he said, well, look, we did take the path and she's getting operated as we speak. When my surgeon rang my husband to tell him how everything went, she said the operation went well. We did a 10-centimeter axillary clearance, but we couldn't find anything. Wow. So that was because by then I believe in my heart, it's either shrunk so tiny or it completely was very, very small to even pick up. So again, so this is my journey, but having said that, she still asked me to take the route of, oncologist, and radiation. So I did the right thing. I went with my questions, and I went to the radiologist, and I asked my questions. And these questions aren't just, so how many sessions do I have to do? How am I going to feel a little bit nauseous? These were questions about not just now, but in the future. Yes. So, and I think it's really, really, really important to, get these questions to your doctor. A real doctor does not care how many questions you throw at them, because the more you dissect the answers, the better you understand it. Because when people think of radiation or chemo, the first thing people think of is, this thing's going to kill me. It's because of what you hear of others. So it's not about that. It's about learning, what am I expected to see the first week, the second week, and in years to come. But in my case, the radiologist, I did the pros and cons, and unfortunately, the cons were much higher. And what I mean by that is, in my case, it would have been a higher chance of a secondary cancer or a higher chance of heart problems, because where the radiation is, where our breasts are, it's very close to the heart. Now, the heart is located mainly on the left side more than the right. And this was my left breast. So he said there could be complications with the heart. And I thought, well, the doctor even said to me, but in your case, I don't see it extremely necessary to do radiation. So I thought, okay. So I went to the oncologist, and again, with the same, you can ask the same questions, because basically it doesn't matter what, tablets, medicines. Yeah. So I went to the, to the oncologist, and again, with my list of questions. And I'll never forget, she put my little details in a spreadsheet. It was like this wonderful little spreadsheet. And it sort of came out with like a pie chart, and it was very fancy. Yeah, it was very fancy. Nice. And again, she gave me options. Now, these are the options that she gave me. I am, to this day, I'm 51 this year, and I still have my period. And I got told recently by a gynecologist, you're going to be a long-term bleeder, which no woman want to hear that. But anyway, so I still go naturally, have my natural periods and things like that. So she said to do tamoxifen. Now, right. Now, tamoxifen is what gave my mother breast cancer, which was the secondary cancer, because my mother was diagnosed with cervical cancer, and she then went and got secondary cancer. So my sisters from day go said, don't you dare get tamoxifen. So she gave me the option, if you don't get tamoxifen, you need to either get a full hysterectomy done.
Wow.
And I thought, okay. And this, again, these are the questions that people have to ask, not just go in there and go, yeah, give me a full hysterectomy because,
Mhm.
I don't like my period anyway. I don't want to have kids, da, da, da. It can cause other issues. So when she
Yes.
went through that list, it was even worse than the first list. And it was, well, you can have a heart attack because not many women know that having your period and not going into early menopause actually lowers the chance of a woman of having a heart attack.
Mm.
So not many people know that. So having an early hysterectomy done can cause a woman to have heart attacks. It's prone, because what happens is with the hormones we have, it's like it balances that area, and then without it, it could cause it. Now,
Wow.
I would have had to go on hormone replacement tablets. That can cause, some of them, I'm not a medical doctor, so some of them can cause secondary cancers, things
Yes.
like that.
Mhm.
So I decided, again, she said the chances of me getting hit by a truck was higher than me dying of cancer in
Wow.
this case because of my condition. So I thought I'll take my chances on the road. Again, I say this, I say to do your homework. I say always make sure you are happy. And if you start doing oncology, mine was strictly tablet though. It
Mhm.
wasn't chemo in such as in the intravene. It was
Yes.
tablet by tablet. And I ask always the questions, where does this get me in the long run?
That's right.
Um,
Quality of life. What is that going to look
correct,
like? Mhm.
correct. So,
Yes.
so that's the journey of actually the physical side. Then the mental side was pretty much from the get-go. I realized, was I surprised that I got cancer? Yes, of course I was. But was I surprised I got cancer? No,
I
because
hear
my
you.
lifestyle was shocking. We were
Mhm.
running a 7+ figure business with 22 staff. It was a man's world. It was in construction. Literally 2 days before I was diagnosed, we lost everything. So the stress level was out the window. I get diagnosed with cancer. So I had to look at it. Myself and my husband had to look at our life and say, right,
Mhm.
this path is no longer serving us. Let's try something else. And that's
Mhm.
when I took on the journey of my new path. But the first thing I had to do as for myself, for my soul, is really go and detox a lot of stuff, you
What
know.
did what did you learn from this whole experience? And then when you started on the path of detoxing the emotional side,
Mm.
what did you uncover? What did you learn? And what did that process look like for you?
Yeah, sure. So the first thing I learned was this didn't happen to me, it happened for me. That was the biggest lesson I learned. And what I mean by that is I knew that I needed to heal all the past traumas of my life. And I had many as a child. I'm a child of a father who physically abused until the age of 29. So I was beaten, very
Mm,
much so, for
mm.
many, many years, constantly. And to the point where I think I was just about 27 or 26 when I had a full loaded gun pointed to my head. So
Oh,
I had to deal with that trauma, that I had to understand that I was carrying something that no longer served me. I would never tell a person I was a victim of abuse, but I kept it within. And I think one of the greater things as I learn is I needed to learn how to be able to express myself in a loving way. And what that did is once you start getting to learn how you can do that within yourself. A lot of people think, well, how do you do that? Easy. Sit with yourself. Look at
mhm.
something that's coming up. If it's something you don't like, don't judge it. It's happened before. It's not happening to you, it's happening for you. So keep watching it. Let it go. let it go. It
Mhm.
no longer serves you in your life. If you can speak to the person, if you're a child of abuse or trauma or something's happened, and you can verbally speak about it. I highly recommend people to verbally speak about it, because that's another way of releasing. What we call purging is talking, yawning, crying, laughing, things like that. That's because people think when you say purging, you're vomiting. It's not. It's a
Exactly.
matter of expressing that, and a lot of us carry childhood, or I shouldn't say a lot of us, but there are many who carry childhood traumas, not realizing as they get older, they think, oh yeah, I dealt with it, because they pushed it so far down.
Mhm. You forget.
um
Some
we
people, they
forget.
don't even they can't even recall it. Hmm.
Correct. It's like a volcano, though.
Yeah.
It's sitting and it's waiting. And,
Yeah.
and I said, life is like, hey, you need to deal with this. I strongly believe life gives you the feather, then it gives you the baseball bat, and then it will give you a truck. And you don't want the truck, because you don't come
Mhm.
back from the truck. So I got the baseball bat in a way, because I wasn't listening. I
Mhm.
wasn't listening. Life kept trying to tell me to slow down, to heal yourself. I had a lot of resentment.
Oh yeah.
um yeah,
Mhm.
I had a lot of resentment. I had a lot of resentment towards my husband when he started his spiritual journey, because I'm thinking, why am I running a man's business and you're going on this spiritual journey? How dare you? But he kept telling me to come with him, but I didn't see it as that doesn't support my bills.
Mhm.
And
Oh yes,
yeah, you know what I'm trying to say? That
I
doesn't support
do.
me,
I
so
do.
I need to work. So I was very much, and I would always do for others,
Mhm.
people pleaser. I was a big people pleaser,
Mhm.
until I was diagnosed. And then I realized I need to be selfish,
Mhm.
because I need to put me first.
And it wasn't being selfish. It was really coming to terms with the self-care that you needed. And that was something that played a big part in you healing yourself. And
Absolutely.
I can relate to your story, because it's like when you give, 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 and you're running here and you're running there, and you're worried about, paying the bills and trying to run a successful business, you put that care that you need on the back burner. But thankfully, your husband has started this journey that eventually
Mm.
you were able to get on board with.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
exactly right. And I'm not sitting here telling everyone, okay, you must jump on a plane and go to Peru. If you could do that, great.
Mhm.
I love when people say I've gone to do some, internal healing in Peru. I think that's amazing. I highly recommend it, because I've done it myself. Just be mindful where you go, though, of course.
Mhm.
Um, but it's more like, when I say the word detox, it wasn't just a physical detox, it was a mental detox. I was detoxing the people around me. I was detoxing my environment, my community, because, a lot of us also serve. When I say serve, we're all here to serve one another in one way or another. We're here of service. And when you come across people in your life that just take, and not give, well, you're not doing any justice to yourself. And I had to learn how to say, when to say yes, and when to say the big fat no, but in a nice way, not a hell no, I will never help you. It was more like, right now I don't have the time to be able to assist you, and I hope you find someone that can help you out, but I've actually got some things that I need to sort out for myself. It was
Mhm.
learning how to be, respectful to people and to yourself, and I think that was really, really important, to do that. It was really important to learn your boundaries.
Mhm.
um Give yourself, pull back. I just used this the other day with a neighbor. I was like on a swing, and I said, all you have to do is just pull back and wait. Just
Yes.
stay there, give yourself time, and then swing in and
Mhm.
have
That
talk or
pause.
do. Yes.
The pause that I
Yes.
love so much. It will save you from a lot of stress, anger,
Yes.
frustration, if you're just being able to pause.
Absolutely. And that is, something I always say as well. I wasn't a pauser, I was,
Mhm,
I'm running a business, like I said, with 22 staff, 22 men. I was on a construction site. I was very much in my masculine, very much.
mm,
So that also, like when people think, was it just the trauma of your childhood? No, I was
mhm,
carrying that. Plus, I'm now I was an office girl, but I'm now on site
mhm.
dealing with men who, unfortunately, they don't know how to deal with women on
That's
site.
right.
So I had to go into my masculine. I had to look masculine. I had to dress masculine pretty much
Mm.
just to be respected.
And
Because yeah,
and as women, we're not supposed to operate from that place all the time.
correct.
There's a time to be that way, but not all the time. And if that's your job, that's a lot.
And that's also some things where, when I speak to also other survivors of breast cancer or those going through breast cancer, when I really get to understand them, I see their masculine, and I think that's where not where it stems from, but it's another, notch, it's another notch. And, it's where you can heal that part of yourself because you're carrying so many things, and it doesn't help. It doesn't. I think what it is what I'm trying to say is, did I eat properly? No, I didn't. Did I look after myself? No, I didn't. Was I a people pleaser? Yes, I was. Was I stressed to the max? I think I should have gotten an award for the most stressed person in the world. Things like that. Was I in my masculine? 100%. Did I have traumas from the past that I didn't deal with? Yes, I did. And when you are too busy running around, you collecting, it's like you're collecting rubbish,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
know,
And
and
eventually it overflows.
correct. So there's women who are mums. They're full-time mum, full-time worker, corporate businesses or running their own businesses and things like that. And it's so much into, and it's not a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's learning how to balance. It's learning how to
Yes.
balance everything
Hmm.
and put yourself first. When I tell mothers these days, you need to come first, it's like I just told them that I could see their third head growing out of their shoulder.
Yeah.
It's like, how dare you say that? And I say that with such passion because I say, without you, your children will not have a mother. Your job will not have a worker. So you need to come first.
Hmm.
And it's very hard because we're brought up thinking we're supposed to be the supporter of, this is my role in life. I was born a
Hmm.
woman, therefore I must serve others
Yeah.
and let them not serve me.
And too, Grace, it seems to be so easy for people, and not just men, but other women also. When women stand in their power and they're comfortable saying no, and they're comfortable putting themselves first, they're immediately labeled the B word.
Yes, yes,
And so,
yes.
of course, no one wants to be thought of in that way or even called
Mm,
that. And so, I
mm,
think for a lot of women, it's just easier for them to say, well, I'll just sink back down and I'll just deal with it, and be a people pleaser.
mm.
And that is something I wish that we could move beyond in society, but you have to do it for yourself, whether other people are on board or not.
Absolutely. And look, the thing is, it is about that. It is, being strong within yourself, that you can say no, but it's also learning how to approach a person where they don't call you the B. Because what happens is they feel like, oh, she's trying to outdo me. A man would probably think, oh, she's trying to be better than me. But if you're going through life as a strong woman, and men love strong women, I know society thought you must be the damsel in distress. Men don't like the damsel in distress all the time. But when I say strong woman, it's strong within yourself, where a man
Mhm.
can physically, not physically see a strength, but physically feel the strength you have within. You know,
Mhm.
when you walk into a room, you're not commanding the room, you're commanding yourself.
Yeah.
And therefore it shows. And that's what's very powerful and beautiful in a woman. But I say that because, you know, there's a lot of women, there's a lot of people who, you know, I'm sure you've done it yourself, where someone's diagnosed with cancer, unfortunately, and you sort of, you know, put your head on the side and sort of go, tell me what's happening deeper in a
Mhm.
level, because
Yeah.
it's not externally.
Mhm.
I've never heard a person, a woman, tell me that their life is perfect, their children are perfect, their work is perfect, their husband is perfect, everything is perfect,
Mhm.
and they've got no issues. The moment I hear that, I hear the biggest alarm bells,
Yeah.
and it's, you are really kidding yourself. There's something going on.
Mhm.
This doesn't happen. Like I said before, you're collecting rubbish without knowing,
That's right.
you know?
That's right. And, Grace, that is an excellent point because what I've learned in supporting people, well, women, is that it starts with that diagnosis. And the deeper you dig, the more you uncover before you're done working with them. That key thing is revealed.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's so important for people to do the work that you've done on your journey, because you were able to completely heal. You were able to
Mm,
go into survivorship, not just physically healed from cancer, but
mhm,
emotionally as well. And so now you're creating this new path, this new life, in a sense, a new form of grace.
mhm.
And that's what it's about. If you have to take the time to heal, try to heal completely. And so I love who you are today. I'm sorry that you had to go
Thank you.
through what you went
Mm.
through, but it's very apparent to me that you've done the work for yourself.
Thank you, and I appreciate that. I really do. And it's like you said, it is really important to heal everything, because I always say, if you don't heal the mind, if you don't heal the soul, it doesn't matter what you put in your body to heal, it's not going to work,
Mhm.
because it'll just come back to haunt you later on in life. You know, it's really important. A lot of people feel like, oh, this is a physical thing of my body. No, it's not. It's everything of your body. It's
Mhm.
everything. And, you know, great spirit, God, whoever you believe in, created us to be able to heal ourselves from the inside out. There's a reason we say that. It's not just the outside, it's the inside out. And I think that's really, really important, because when you learn to go through your journey with cancer, and you know, I say to people, I used to put cancer like a handbag under my armpit and thought, we're still going, we're still moving. It's not that I was avoiding it,
Yeah.
you know. I was learning to live with it. Right now I was learning to deal with it, but I had to still move forward, and I had to, you know, like we said before, the pause was me healing, then get back into society, then go
Mhm.
back, heal some more. It doesn't mean that you have to go out, you know, and live in a cave and meditate for 25 days. It just means take it when something comes up, look at it, deal with it. If you need to purge, if you need to cry about it, cry. Just don't unpack your luggage and stay there,
Mhm.
and then move on. Then
That's
get
right.
something else, keep moving. It's like a swing, you know.
Mhm.
And I think that's really, really important, because a lot of women think, oh yeah, my doctor did this, I did chemo, and I'm out of here. But their mindset is so negative that I
Yeah.
worry. I worry for them.
Mhm.
And I think, oh, and you know, if it came back, I'll be like, I'm not surprised. And I don't mean that in a horrible way. I actually am
Mhm.
very, very sorry for them when they say it's come back. I think, all right,
Mhm.
you haven't dealt with something. This time around, you need to deal with it a bit more, you know, better.
I totally understand what you're saying, Grace. And, that's why it's so important to take that time, because you have to do it anyway, physically. So, why not just incorporate the rest of your well-being into that process? And it's just so important. And
Absolutely.
especially today with everything going on in the world, even people who are not diagnosed with cancer, it's
Mm.
important to recognize those feelings and those thoughts that may not be, the best, and figure out where they're coming from and work through those so they don't blow into something else later.
Yes, we were
Mhm.
actually discussing this the other day with a very good friend of ours, and we were saying that a lot of people uh, say that people have got mental illnesses because of COVID. It wasn't mental illness; it was because that they had so many things they didn't deal with, and then all of a sudden, COVID said you have to sit on your butt, and all of a sudden they're like, well, I can't escape here, I can't escape at
Mhm.
work, I can't escape at the gym, I can't escape at the bar, things like that. So they had to deal with it, and then there's no support because they're
Mhm.
locked in their home. There's no support. All of a sudden these feelings, these things arise, and they go, oh, I don't know how to deal with that, and that becomes worse for them.
Yeah.
And that's where I think a lot of us have to step up and say, hey, you're not alone, just talk about it, what's going on, and as
Mhm.
trivial or as silly as it may seem, it is an issue that you've got to deal with.
Yeah.
And it could be because when you were 4 years old, someone stole a pen off you and called
Mhm.
you a bad name. You're still carrying that. That's a trauma you got to deal
Yeah.
with. And as much as you think, I'm 60, I can't tell someone that story. Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Because the moment you see that story from this point of view, you understand that it has no meaning. It's the meaning you gave it. It's not what
Mhm.
happened. It was the meaning you gave that. It's with anything. It's the meaning we give it. It's not what
Mhm.
happens. It's the meaning. So unless you look at that, and I think that's what COVID's done. It's actually, looked at people, and it's brought up a lot of things, and then they're dealing with this stuff in an unhealthy way because they're not getting help or they're not getting the support, and then they got fear of going to a doctor,
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
and then by the time they go, it's unfortunate they've got something.
Mhm.
Apparently, my surgeon said that there's more people diagnosed with cancer this year, the last couple of years,
Mhm.
because they didn't do follow-ups or they didn't go straight away.
Yes.
So, and I'm not just talking about, like we're saying, it's not just cancer. You
Mhm.
don't want to have chronic illness. You don't want to have mental illness. You don't want to have anything, come and surprise you, because
Mhm.
that's what we're trying to say. Is we're trying to say, don't get it, don't let it get to that point.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it goes back to that thing of fear. Don't let fear stop you from going to get your preventative care. Don't let fear stop you from talking to that mental health expert who might be able to help you
Yeah.
uncover something that's blocking your blessings and blocking your growth and all of those things. And I think sometimes when in life, when we feel like we're just stuck in the same place, it's because there's something there that's blocking us that we can't see. We haven't acknowledged it, and we haven't taken the time to really evaluate what that
Mm.
could be or what's going on. So important. Fear is just, it's like a disease in itself, actually.
It is. It is. I
Mhm.
had I had to learn. I did a process with Tony Robbins back in 2020 to get rid of
Mhm.
fear, because I knew that excuse me, that the fear was going to take. The fear would have killed me.
Mhm.
Had I
Yeah.
let that fear keep me, I would have died by fear and nothing else.
Mm.
And that's how strongly fear had me by the throat in a corner, for almost about 8 months. It had me, yeah. So what it did was I was afraid to even make plans today, tomorrow. That's how
Yeah.
bad it was. Um, and the process I did, when I speak about it, was so profound, because it got to the point where I spoke to fear. I mean, this is part of the process. You can't just do it unless you're in it. But I basically said to fear, you know, you need to pack your luggage and get out. Get
Mhm.
out. You have no place in my life. And I did it like it was a real person who's been kicking me every day, who's been destroying my home. You know, if you have a roommate or a housemate and they're destroying your house, you're not going to go, listen, I know you punched a couple of holes in the wall. Do you mind leaving? You're going to get really down and ugly and say, you need to get whatever you want to say, swear word in between, out of my home. You need to leave. I have no more room for you. And that's what I said to Fear. And to the point where I said to Fear, the only time you will ever visit me again is if I'm in a plane and it's going down. Then you can visit me. Other than that, yeah, other than that, you have. And do I get scared? Of course, I'm human, but I don't let fear get to me. I don't, because it almost killed me. That would have killed me before cancer, 100%. And not only that, if we create that emotion, you get sick.
Yes.
And I thought, well, what did you want, Grace? You got 8 months or 12 months or 2 years of fear. And then, by the way, you get told you got cancer again. It's like, well, hang on, you created it. You know, you create. One of the things that I remember doing my plant medicine work was when I was drinking the medicine out of the cup. I remember hearing the dialogue, you did this, you fix it.
Oh, in your head, you heard
in my
that.
head.
Oh,
in my
yes.
head, I heard, you did this, you fix it.
Wow.
So basically, it's life saying, you did this to yourself. You have to fix it now. And I thought, oh, and that's when I started changing, you know. But fear came. Fear was always there, always there. And it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. Do I get scared? Of course. Yeah.
You have to learn to move past that.
Yep. Learn how to control it.
That's right. Yes. Now, Grace, you have shared your amazing story with us, and I would like the audience to know more about, you know, how you help women that have been diagnosed with breast cancer, and tell us more about the Angels of Grace.me.
Okay, so what I do now is I've actually started just, just sort of putting myself out there where women can contact me and they can have a discussion. They could just call one-on-one, and what we do is we just discuss, you know, what's happening. And I just give them some tools. I give them some tools of what, when I say tools, it's not the medicine side of things, it's tools. Where do you go for, you know, putting a dream team together? You know, how do you do that? Why do you do that? Where are the questions? I have questions that I can give, you know, a woman or a man, whoever's going through cancer, I can give them questions to ask their doctors, because as I said, when you first get diagnosed, you're in a bubble. So therefore I've got questions that they can ask their doctors. So I'm there as a support team, but I'm there also as a person who's gone through it, you know, emotionally, psychologically. So I've even got, like, with the Angels of Grace. Now, the Angels of Grace was born way before all of this. I've always been someone who loves to do physical, you know, creative things. So what I did is I worked with crystals for more than 10 years. So I started to work a lot with crystals through my journey, through my cancer journey. And also now I wore crystals that could help me through my cancer journey, whether it's to hold a crystal while I'm in the doctor's office, whether it's to have one under my pillow. It was whatever I was connecting with, and it was helping me. So I started doing that. So what it is I was telling, what I do is I help people understand that there's such a big world out there to choose from. There's so many tools out there. And don't ever feel like, no, it's this because my doctor said this, therefore it's that, you know. So that's what I'm there for. I'm there as a support team. You could put me on your dream team. I've had some women put me on their dream team as another friend in the group. Grace, this is what's happening. What do you think? I also help. When I say counseling, I'm not a professional counselor, of course, and I would always highly recommend them to see someone like my husband. But I help them through their emotional. I sit there and I hold space and I allow them. So I'm not a medical field as such, but what I'm there for is I'm one of these people that go, okay, talk to me, come and see me.
Mhm.
I'll give you some tools and make you understand. So the Angels of Grace, I've also got a 30-day motivation, because I believe it's really important to get motivated, to go
Yes.
through life, do things what makes you feel good about yourself. So good things that make you feel good about yourself, and to move forward. It's how to learn to move with what you have, the diagnosis. So I have that as well. I have, but more of my whole thing is more holistics. I work with,
Mhm.
because when I went to Peru, I learned how to cleanse my home. When I say
Yes.
cleanse my home, I cleanse it by smudging, by
Yes.
using methods of smudging. And the reason being I had to do that is because I had to create a safe environment for the journey I was going on. So that's why I
Mhm.
say to people, detoxing is not just about the body, eating or drinking green drinks. Great. That's
Mhm.
fantastic for you. It's about everything. So
Mhm.
I learned that. I learned the method of, sacred smudging your home. So that's what's on my, the Angels of Grace as well, because I wanted to share that. I wanted to share that you can do that. I make candles.
Mhm.
Because, again, it creates a relaxing environment, things like that. So, that's what the Angels of Grace is. I'm not trying to, it's not everything, but it's like a small package where you can choose some things and that could help you out. And if it doesn't
Mhm.
work, you can always go back and say, well, Grace, this doesn't work. What about this? Great. Journaling. I'm big on
Mhm.
journaling. I'm creating a journal. I'm actually creating a journal as we speak for, it's for anyone. When I say anyone, do I touch on breast cancer? Yes, I do, but it's for anyone. It's a journal that could be used for anyone. So basically, it's a 3-part journal,
Mhm.
where the beginning of the journal might have some references where you can contact people. The middle is where you write about your experience, whether you want to scribble on it. And then the end is like a little diary where if you are going through treatments, you can pop in your your dates of appointments and things like that. So and again, that was something that I was using, but I was using 3 books to do that.
Mhm.
And I was forever journaling. So that's what the Angels of Grace represents. As I said, I never knew. If you asked me 20 years ago when I did get the name the Angels of Grace, what it would mean, this is what it means. I now know.
Mhm.
May you find your angel is basically, may you find who you are, your spirit, your guide, whoever you believe within. That's that's why I call it, may you find your angel. The Angels of Grace, may you find your angel, because I believe that we all have that spirit within, that angel. People say, oh, my angel's looking over me, my
Mhm.
guardian spirit, whatever you believe in. Yeah.
Wonderful. And Grace, if people want to, learn more about you and learn more about what you have to offer, please tell them where they can find you.
Sure. So they can they can obviously, they can subscribe to, the angelsofgrace.me, or they could, call, email me on support@theangelsofgrace.me. And you can reach out, and wherever I can help you or however I can help you, I'm always prepared to go on a Zoom call or anything like that, or a Skype call with anyone, even for a chat. If I don't find the answers, I will find the answers for you. So, I'm there as to be there to support you. Yeah.
Wonderful. I love that. And Grace, before we end today, I'd like to ask my guests 2 questions.
Mhm.
The first one is, what is something that you've learned in life that you would like to share with the audience?
What I learned through my experience is that I love myself so much.
Mm.
I learned to truly, truly love Grace.
Oh.
And I think that's really important. I recommend it to everyone to stand in the mirror and say, I love you so much. And the words I use is, I love you so much, Grace. I have your back. I will never, ever, ever leave you. I have your back. I will always be here for you. And it's profound. And that's one thing that I learned in life. When you have your own back, you can get through anything. Yeah.
Perfect advice. And that is so true. I'm
It
so
is very
glad.
true. Yeah.
So happy that you reached that point, and you're an inspiration for a lot of people who may not be in that place yet, but hopefully they'll listen to all the things that you've had to share today and start that journey. So, and that's what it's about.
Absolutely. And with everyone, I say it is a journey. You know, you don't know when the end date is. No one knows. So don't look at it as a death sentence. Look at it as a journey. No matter what, get up, shower, change, and start your day. Because the thing is, like I say to a lot of people, is you may survive 25 years of breast cancer or cancer and then get hit by a train or something. You just don't know. So don't look at it as a death sentence. Look at it as a journey. And it didn't happen to you. These were words very, very important. Whatever happens, whatever you're going through, it doesn't happen to you. It happens for you because there are lessons in it. And then you can be of service to others.
Yeah. Perfectly said. Perfectly said. And so, Grace, my final question for you is, what's next?
Well, what is it next? When I say the world is your oyster, like I say, I'm always here to build the Angels of Grace, where it's a platform where women can come and approach. I'm actually putting together, as I said, the journal, so I can't wait. But I also love doing candles. So I'm creating candles at the moment. I'm doing Valentine's Day candles. Again, this is a passion of mine. So that's what I'm doing. So if anyone wants to reach out and pick a candle for themselves or a loved one, please feel free to reach out. I've also got my online store at theangelsofgrace.me. There's a link there for theangelsofgrace.com, which is my online store. And again, I just sell beautiful holistic items on there, and these candles will be up there shortly. So yeah, so that's, I think that's enough for me for now.
Yeah, you're busy, and that's a good thing. So
yeah.
Grace, thank you for all that you do to support women, or really anyone with cancer. You are such a blessing to the cancer community. I want to thank you for your time today and for being vulnerable and sharing your story with us. So it's part of the healing journey. And I believe we go through these things to help other people heal as well. So again, thank you, Grace. It's been such a pleasure.
Thank you so much. I've actually had an amazing time here, and I thank, your audience for listening in. And I hope that, if I've touched one person, then that's what it is. It's because I've learned, that what we go through is not for us to keep, but to be shared. So, and I truly believe that we're at service for others. So, I thank you for having this platform. I thank you for being able to, I love your motto, on the other side. I love that because it's navigating, it's getting through this, and you're at service for others as well. So I thank you for allowing me to share my story on your platform. I really do. And I can't wait to catch up with you soon.
Absolutely. The pleasure is mine, Grace. And before we end today, I'd like to give a shout out to the listeners. That is it for this Wednesday. And until next time, let's keep navigating cancer together. Take care. Thanks for listening to this episode of Navigating Cancer Together. I hope you enjoyed it. Please be sure to subscribe. And if you appreciate the show, drop a positive rating and review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. For notes from the show, visit ontheotherside.life and check out the podcast section. After you check out the show notes, head over to my gift shop and show yourself or someone special in your life some love with gifts of encouragement, hope, and positive affirmations. I would love it if you joined us for the next episode. Talk to you soon.